Hi, and thank you for joining us right here at This Week in Video Marketing. Today we're going to be talking about video hosting options, which really boils down to when to use YouTube and when to use other third-party players. And by the end of this conversation, you're going to have a really strong understanding about the strategy and options that are available. But first, here's a quick tip, all right? I'm going to get you started with something. On YouTube, Google, and Facebook, watch time is a primary ranking factor. So if you want your videos to rank well, make sure that they're engaging and they're valuable all the way through. Plus, you're always going to want to search engine optimize your YouTube videos. Wirebuzz's strategy and optimization team recently published our YouTube SEO ebook, and later on in this interview, we're going to tell you how to get that YouTube SEO ebook for free. Now, this episode is brought to you by Wirebuzz, the leading video marketing agency specializing in video, strategy, and results. Our clients are always asking us when to use YouTube or third-party players, and it really comes down in most of our client conversations, and that's why Marcus Krieg, Wirebuzz's Director of Strategy and Video Optimization, is with me. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, Todd.
Marcus is a conversation you know intimately. It's something we're always discussing. By the way, if you're following us on Twitter, you can always follow the hashtag TWIVM, which is This Week in Video Marketing, and we're going to be responding to questions during this live event. Let's start at the very beginning, my man. What is video hosting, right? Let's just bring people up to speed there. Then we'll kind of drill down into the nitty-gritty, like why does it matter to video marketers or to marketers or business owners who are trying to use video for their services. So what is video hosting, Marcus?
That's a great question. That's a great question, Todd. More often than not, people are not actually asking about video hosting. More often than not, we're bringing that conversation up with clients. And that's because it's a very technical discussion. It seems very difficult and out there. So it's really actually a basic thing. So anything you create that you want to live somewhere on the internet has to be hosted on a server somewhere. Someone has to possess those files and then serve those files out to the internet. So video hosting is first and foremost where you're putting those videos on the web. There obviously are tools and platforms like YouTube or Vimeo. There are also places such as Wistia, Brightcode, which are third-party hosting options. And then a lot of people are still using self-hosting, which is, if you're using a WordPress site, you can host those media files on your own website, on your own server. And so those are the three core options. Recently, social media has thrown a little wrench into the machine by allowing hosting within, for example, Twitter or Facebook or Vine and those sorts of platforms. So video hosting is both where the information lives on the web, but secondly, it's also the video players, the functionalities, those sorts of things are usually tied directly back to where you're hosting that video.
Yeah, that's a really good overview. Now, for those of you who are with us, please keep in mind video marketing is a rapidly evolving industry and specialty. As Marcus mentioned a few moments ago, you've got Twitter and Facebook that are also are providing and developing new video hosting options. So this is a rapidly evolving field, but this is the best information in the industry as it pertains to right now and the advice that we generally give clients. So why would someone use anything other than YouTube? Let's start there.
That's a really good question because obviously YouTube is so big. It's 6 billion hours of YouTube videos are watched every month around the world. It's the second largest search engine. It's the second most popular website. So everyone thinks, okay, YouTube is this giant behemoth. I need to be there. That's where I need to be. But the reality is that YouTube has a lot of limitations. For example, there's the inability to really derive a ton of traffic back to your website specifically. It tends to be really good if you're trying to get the maximum amount of views, to extend your brand, to become a thought leader, those sorts of, those are advantages to YouTube. But only about 1% of your video viewers are actually going to click through to your website or engage with your videos. And so if you're trying to generate leads or if you're trying to drive traffic to your website to sell products or anything like that, YouTube's really not going to be the best platform for you. Plus, if you're offering promotional videos or product videos in some specific niche, and people watch that video to completion, which is always your #1 goal, then YouTube is introducing people to your competitors at the end. So there are some significant disadvantages to YouTube. It's very hard to rank your website for that. So those are some of the big reasons why you would choose to use a different solution.
Now, which other options are available now? I know we mentioned earlier Vimeo and Brightcove and Wistia. All of them very good options, but each one of those has strengths and weaknesses. Let's first talk about Vimeo.
Yeah, so Vimeo, I never really recommend it to anyone anymore. It's definitely it's a prettier video player than YouTube, which is why a lot of businesses use it. It also has the advantage of being free. The problem is that you're still dealing with reduced bandwidth. So anytime you have a free service, lots of people are going to be leeching off of that free service. And when you are hosting those videos on your website actually has to grab that information from that external server. And that call, the longer that call to the server is, the slower your website load will be. And as we know, just a 1-second difference can be as much as a 20% change in conversion rates. So using something like Vimeo actually has a lot of disadvantages. The functionalities and integrations are just not there. So even the pro version of Vimeo is probably not the best option for any business. If you're looking for something that's got a more beautiful video player with more functionality, you should really be looking at a paid solution like a Wistia or a Brightcove.
All right, so in a few moments we're going to be sharing our screen. We're going to show you a really cool simple way of looking at different video hosting options. That'll come up in a moment. Also later on in the program, we're going to share how you can get the free ebook that we created about SEOing or search engine optimizing your YouTube videos and your YouTube channel. That's coming up in a few moments. Now, Marcus, there is social hosted platforms, Facebook and Twitter. We're starting to see now that there are advantages to adding your videos inside of Facebook as opposed to YouTube when you're posting onto Facebook. Twitter's video options are in development. There's self-hosted and third-party options. You want to break some of those down a little bit?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with the first one, which in a similar vein to Vimeo, that you shouldn't use, which is self-hosting. A lot of brands like to feel like they're in 100% control of their video and they want to do all of these nifty customizations, but more often than not, it just doesn't play well. The amount of money you're going to spend on developers and the amount of bandwidth you're going to have to buy from your website host is actually going to exceed the cost of getting a basic plan from your Wistias, or maybe not a Brightcove, but definitely Wistia is going to be a more affordable, more feature-packed option. So there's really no good reason anymore with the players out there in the video hosting space to self-host a video. When it comes to social media, we're looking at a very interesting beast, because obviously your social media posts are not searchable. They're not things that you're sharing across multiple networks. So I caution businesses thinking, okay, so now I can upload my videos directly to Facebook. I don't need YouTube, or I don't need to use video players on my website and those sorts of things, because it's a great way to get extra engagement within those platforms, because the platforms themselves, Twitter's integration with their own video host is going to be better than anyone else's. Same thing with Facebook. That's why Facebook has the autoplay functionality, but they don't do that for YouTube and Wistia and those other services. So use it, but use it as like that second option. So like maybe you host it on your blog with like a Wistia, or you host it on YouTube, and then a couple weeks later you repost that same video in a native Twitter, a native Facebook video platform to get extra engagement, extra views.
All right, so there's a real science behind this. There's strategy. In fact, the room that Marcus is in is our strategy and optimization room here at Wirebuzz, and for each of our campaigns, depending on what the client objective is, they're different for everybody. that determines the proper video player. Video players can also determine your SEO, their advantages and disadvantages. Video players also have the option, depending on which ones you want to select, you'll have an advantage, one over the other, on generating email databases or getting a customer to convert and purchase something after watching a video. So it's always important to start figuring out what is that ultimate goal and then which video player best supports it. Now, with all of these options that are available, Marcus, how do you determine what's right for one of your clients? How do we do that?
Yeah, so it really starts with the primary objective. So the first objective that a lot of brands have is branding. This is more of the traditional media approach where you're trying to get as much exposure for your brand, drum up name recognition, thought leadership, those sorts of things. So if you're looking to get the maximum amount of exposure possible for your video investment, YouTube is definitely the place to go. The way that you're going to do that is you'll create videos for YouTube. This is not an optimized video for your blog is going to look a little different than an optimized video for YouTube because the audiences are very different. So there are a lot of things that go into creating a successful YouTube video. Obviously, you want to be optimizing those YouTube videos for SEO so that they're ranking in YouTube and Google search results. The long-term value of YouTube is going to be getting your videos ranking in search results. It's so important. It's the biggest advantage to YouTube. But if you're trying to drive traffic to your website, using YouTube can cannibalize your on-site SEO ranks because YouTube is the second largest website on the web. So it is always going to take precedence, or almost always going to take precedence over your website ranking for a keyword. So if your goal then is traffic or leads, then you're going to want to use something like Wistia. And the reason we like Wistia is that it's probably got the most complete feature package. It's very affordable at only like $25 a month for their basic plan, and it scales up very nicely. Some of the advantages to Wistia is you're going to get better website SEO. It has video sitemaps built into the system, so all you have to do is upload the video, integrate it with your website, and you're going to start seeing better search results. It also has a better video player. When people have compared web pages with YouTube videos versus Wistia videos, one of the things that you see is about 30% of people think that a website that's using a third-party video player is more credible. There's this element of YouTube is for play, and when I'm on someone's website, I want it to be a little bit more professional. There's that trust element. So you obviously want to be using Wistia if your primary goal is going to be lead generation. One of the cool things that they do there is you can actually create content gates. When you can either gate the video so people have to enter an email in order to watch it. You can put that gate after the intro, so you've introduced the topic and then they have to enter the email. And then finally, you could also do it at the end, which is sort of more in line with that sort of content marketing feel, which is, hey, if you really liked this, then subscribe. The other great thing about Wistia is, if you have a sales organization and you're trying to generate warm leads and you need insights into what's effective and what's ineffective, these third-party tools are very, very powerful. So one of the problems with YouTube is if you want to test one video against itself with minor changes to see, okay, is this sentence going to work better than this sentence? Which call to action should I use? Those are things you can test in Wistia without actually breaking the embed code. So if someone shares your video and you take it down off of YouTube, it breaks all of those links. But with Wistia, you can actually change the video without changing all of the links and embed codes. So you can actually go back and optimize and change videos on an ongoing basis, which is really one of the best things about video, is that it converts people at a very high rate. So if you're trying to get sales leads or traffic to your website, you definitely want to go with one of those third-party platforms. That said, we often see clients, and this is something that we do for ourselves, where they're looking for something that has a little bit the best of both worlds. And so this is a little more advanced. It requires a lot more work. You're creating different types of videos for different places. But that balanced approach would entail using YouTube for like content marketing activities. So these are the videos you're sharing on social media, the videos that you are putting in the blog section of your website, and you're trying to build all of that exposure up. And then on the website, what I call the website proper, so like the main portion of the website, where you're talking about the features, the benefits of your product, and anything promotional, where you're trying to get someone to sign up, where you're trying to get someone to become a warm lead, or if you're actually just trying to sell a product, then you should definitely use something like Wistia. You're going to get a much better conversion rate. Again, you're going to have those options for optimizing it on an ongoing basis, and that's something you don't get with YouTube. So that's definitely doable. I don't want you to think it's all or nothing. You have to use YouTube or Wistia and settle on one thing, but there are some of those advanced options. It's doing the right thing to achieve your specific objectives.
All right, so it comes up all the time, with we recently had a conversation and in our office about a client whose strategy was they wanted to be on YouTube, but they wanted to be driving traffic to their site. And so with experienced video marketers, what happens to Marcus or I or our team is that's kind of like a red flag, because those are two competing paths, because YouTube is not a traffic generator. So by making sure you have a detailed strategy at the beginning, you end up laying out a platform for yourself, a step-by-step guide of what your goals are. That'll tell you and influence what video player you should be using. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
All right. So for people that are playing along at home, what we're going to do is we're going to take that slide that we were just showing, and we're going to share that socially. It'll give you a very good idea, and we'll probably accompany it with a short clip of Marcus's overview on each of the 3 options that are available, and it'll help you decipher what the right video option is for you. Marcus, anything else that we've talked about that about hosting options that we haven't talked about that would be helpful to people that are watching right now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great information out there that discuss this topic. So, I mean, you can always work with us here at Wirebuzz. We have a strategy team. We start all of our projects with strategy. So, if you're looking for your decoder ring, you can always get help from the experts. We actually offer free 30-minute consultations. But if the key is define your goals. Usually you have to pick just a couple goals. You can't have a ton of different goals and try to have everything, because there's only so many hours in the day. So pick the goals that you really want to focus on, and then develop a strategy to achieve those goals. And that means selecting the right video hosting platform. So start with the strategy, then pick the hosting platform, and then you start creating videos, because the videos, you're going to cook those optimizations for each platform type into the video.
All right, so great advice. As promised, we're taking questions from the audience, so feel free on the Google Plus event page to post in your questions. We also have someone on the team that is tracking Twitter under the Twitter handle for the acronym for This Week in Video Marketing. And one question that I've got right in front of me right now is from Irene Smith off of Google Plus. She says, is it worthwhile to upload YouTube videos to Dailymotion? Any disadvantages? And so there are advantages and disadvantages. I'll let Marcus kind of detail the Dailymotion breakdown.
So when it comes to sharing sites, it's usually very effective to make sure you're promoting your videos to the extent possible and as many places as possible. Oftentimes people will share a video only once. That's a mistake. Only a tiny percentage of your audience, about 0.5% of your audience, is going to see something you post on social media. So when you're sharing something, you want to share it multiple times. When it comes to specific platforms like Dailymotion, I'll always recommend testing it and seeing what's getting you the best results. There's only so many hours in the day, so you've got to pick those platforms strategically, and so that means measuring. I keep spreadsheets to make sure that every campaign's different, so you have to keep that data. With Dailymotion in particular, I don't see there being a disadvantage unless you're seeing your bad data. If it's an inefficient use of your time. But otherwise, those curation platforms and sharing platforms, Reddit, the old Dig, those types of places are really effective for sharing your content. But I caution you to share content in places where people are expecting to see video, and that you restrict that to non-promotional. So if you're creating something that's value forward, that people are going to get excited about, that they're going to feel closer to you as a brand and build a relationship with you, so for some example, something like this where we're really talking about how to solve a problem, then that type of content's always going to do a lot better on those types of platforms. When it comes to anything that's self-promotional, I try to keep that on my website and use the value-driven content to drive people back. If you're using YouTube and you're trying to do that, then the goal is to use an offer, something very compelling your audience is going to like, and encourage people to click through back to your website. So you keep the promotions largely within your own ecosystem, and then distribute value.
All right, so that's a really good point. We did something recently at Wirebuzz, and for those of you who do not know, and I think it's kind of common knowledge that we run 3 very large cancer awareness campaigns. It's our passion projects here. It allows us to, they're our own campaigns. It allows us to create tests and see what's happening out there on very large populations. We can then transfer those tests over onto client projects and make very smart tweaks to those campaigns. And we did one recently that I published on Google+. You could probably find the case study, but we uploaded videos into YouTube and then share the link over, that video embed link over to Google+. And then we also uploaded them, excuse me, I totally screwed that up. We uploaded the video to YouTube and then shared the YouTube embed over onto Facebook. And then we took a similar video and uploaded it into Facebook. And between the two, the one that was uploaded into Facebook and shared on Facebook got twice as many views as the one that was in YouTube and then shared onto Facebook. So figure out where you're going to be engaging that video, and then come up with the right strategy that allows you to amplify your message to the largest number of people possible. Each social network has a slightly different strategy behind it, and it's tricky. It changes all the time. You have to be nimble and be willing to test. Look, as Marcus mentioned, we do offer a free 30-minute consultation about video strategy. We do have a free white paper. It's an ebook. You can download it. It's about YouTube SEO. It's the latest information coming right out of Wirebuzz's strategy and optimization team. To access that, you can go to wirebuzz.com/video-hosting. Give it to you one more time. wirebuzz.com/video-hosting. If you go to my Google Plus page, I teased it a few moments before we went live. And, oh, pardon me, we got a couple more questions. I have not screened these questions yet. This is where live gets fun. So let's see. Dave Williams says, does the Wistia player allow a viewer to see perhaps the first minute of the video and then pay to see the rest of the file? Marcus?
That is I'm not 100% sure about pay gates in Wistia. It wasn't really created as a monetization platform. Wistia, when they started their company, it was around helping blogs and search engine optimizers and content marketers to grow their audience and generate leads. Even if you could, I would probably discourage it. I think that there are other pathways you can take to monetize video. One of the things that I've seen done really well, really effectively in the blogging and business community is that you will take that Wistia video, so you would upload that video as a protected video in Wistia, and then you put that behind a paywall on landing pages. And so there are really cool tools like lead pages where you can set up a landing page. I'm sure if you've seen a video course online, I'm sure you've seen lead pages, and it's that where you have that box in the middle of the page, and then you have the 3 or 4 other boxes saying, hey, here's the first video in the sequence, and then day 2 you get this video, day 3 you get this video, and so on and so forth. But to get to that page in the first place, you pay gate. And so you make people pay, and then you send them that link. So if you're trying to use video as a product or a service, then you definitely should probably charge before you show those videos. And then when it comes to as a part of your content marketing strategy, you should probably avoid pay gates.
All right, so that's a really good overview. There is a lot of information that we're providing for you. Feel free to go to wirebuzz.com/video-hosting to get the free YouTube SEO ebook. You can download that and also post any questions on the Google Plus event page, which I know your schedule's crazy today, Marcus, like mine, but if we both can carve out a little bit of time to check back, reply to questions there, I think that the audience would appreciate it. And so we'll do our best to get back over there and answer any questions. There's going to be some really cool events happening this week in video marketing coming up in future weeks. I can't tease them now because we're developing them, but this is information that we're also providing in podcast format. So if you go over to iTunes, you'll be able to get all of our This Week in Video Marketings as we continue to progress and provide you the latest information that's happening, you guessed it, this week in video marketing. It's amazing how that happens, right? You just tie yourself right back. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, everyone, it's been another great episode. We'll look forward to talking with you. Feel free to post any questions. We'll get back to you if time permits today. And if there's a topic that fits within video marketing that you would like us to discuss, or someone you'd like us to interview, you can also post that on the events page. We'll look for it and look forward to talking with you in future weeks. Peace. You going to give me a peace, Marcus? No, he didn't do it. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.